sit. Maybe mute until we're ready to go because the wind noise is pretty full on.
Yeah, we can mute, or mate, can you mute us?
Yep, but you're good now.
We'll keep our video on maybe and just mute us until it's time for us to talk.
Okay. You sound pretty good right now, though.
All right, so we should be going live in a few seconds. I think we're live on YouTube, and we should be live on Instagram in a few seconds. So maybe you, Fiona, can... Yeah, we're live.
Okay, great. Hey, everyone. Happy International Day of the Forests. My name's Fiona. I'm from Gecko in East Gippsland, and we've been campaigning to protect our forests since 1993. We're really, really excited to have a whole bunch of awesome direct action forest activists from across Australia joining us today via YouTube and Instagram. Feel free to jump into the comments and ask any questions if you want to ask anything about what's happening in these campaigns. I'm going to start. So we have with us today, we have 2 tree sits from the Tarkine, and we have Toolangi. How you going there, Alana? And we have an awesome blockade up at Newcastle, north of Sydney, where it's been really, really wet. So, hey, Bones, how you going?
Yeah, doing good. We're trying to stay dry. We're actually under an umbrella right now.
Very nice colours you got going on there. We might start with you, Fiara. How's it going down the Tarkine? Can you hear us?
Really windy right now.
Tell us about your tree sit.
Yeah.
Whereabouts are you?
Hi, man. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Sorry, I'm just rearranging things because of the wind.
Maybe, Lisa, you could unmute yourself and show us around as well. Uh-oh. Whoa. So you're situated right in the middle of a logging coop. Is that right?
Yeah.
Hang on, I'm going to have to tell them. And are you tied to bulldozers?
Bulldozers.
Yeah. What are you?
There's no machinery here.
Okay, great. That's awesome. So you're stopping the logging down there?
Yeah, the logging's been stopped for now. And there's no machinery here.
That's great. We still can't hear you, Lisa. I just have to ask you to unmute.
There's someone climbing up right now.
Can you hear me now? Yes. Yay. Okay, can you hear me?
Yep, we can.
Great. Okay, so hi everyone. I'm Lisa. This is Ali. We're about 40 metres up a beautiful eucalyptus obliqua in the Pieman Forest, which is in the Tarkine in northwest Tasmania. We're in I'll show you around a little bit. So we have got an adjacent tree sit. So there's Fiara up the tree, and you can see some clear fell damage that's happened around us. So there's also a tour going on down there, so there's people watching us from down below as well. We came in here, so about 12 months ago, Sustainable Timber Tasmania came in and started logging here. They got about 4 or 5 days into logging before we moved in, attached ourselves to machines, got up into these trees and forced the machines to move out. So they unfortunately did a bit of damage here, but since then we've been holding strong. We are on day 85 of our blockade here today. We've got a presence up in these trees, and we've got people occupying the space, and we've got a blockage on the road so that nobody can come in and do any more damage in this forest.
That's awesome. And how are you? Tell us about your tree sit. How are you attached?
We've all got climb lines. We're all experienced climbers. We go through quite a rigorous training process with people before people make a decision to come up and spend time up in the trees. So we run a lot of climbing workshops and get people skilled up. and we're all attached to climb lines the whole time we're here. Also important to note, I think it's a bit difficult to hear Fiara because of wind and things, but she's actually, I think, on day 6 or 7 of sitting up in that tree sit over there, which is pretty spectacular. So, like, amazing work, Fiara, a week up in that beautiful tree there. I'll show you Fiara from a different perspective. There you go. Fiara, wave over here.
Hello.
That's so cute.
Whoa, it's so weird seeing myself on the other side.
Well done, Tassie. How are you guys going up in Newcastle? Tell us about what you've been doing up there. I can see some structures in the background blocking the road. Do you want to tell us about what you've been doing?
Yeah, well, we've been here since Christmas last year, so we've had plenty of time to set up. There's 3 different kinds of tree sits in case you want like a different view each night. And we've got ground lock-ons too for when we get rained out. Yeah, so we're just holding the fort. Like, we're building community at the moment. So we've got lots of workshops and tours and citizen science workshops happening every weekend to encourage people to come into the forest and join our campaign.
And has logging commenced in that area, or have you managed to hold them up?
Yeah, so it hasn't commenced since we came in around Christmas time and sent them on their Christmas holiday a little bit early. They asked to take out the machines. We let them take out the machines, had a lovely conversation with them. We haven't had the loggers back since. So we're looking for where they're going next. We imagine we'll have to be chasing after them there too.
Well done. That's such good work. And can I ask, around Newcastle, was there much area that was affected by the bushfires?
Yeah, well, this spot, which is why I love it so much, didn't get affected. So it's one of the big wildlife corridors that definitely has koalas in it, that definitely has the biodiversity. It's definitely an old forest that's, you know, a carbon sink that wasn't disturbed by the fires. So it's really important to protect it.
Yeah. And how about you in the Central Highlands? Do you want to tell us about what's going on there, Lana?
Hey, yeah, so I am coming to you guys today from Toolangi, which is the first forest that I ever came to when I first started being involved in the forest movement here in Vic. Toolangi is a pretty heavily logged area, and like behind me you can see there's this beautiful tall mountain ash, which is super gorgeous, and lots of ferns, and it's a very wet forest. It's currently raining and there's leeches crawling all over me, so I'm kind of in the full rainforest vibe right now. But yeah, currently across Victoria, there's a lot of clear fell logging occurring, and I've recently been really involved in the Rubicon State Forest, which is where I was meant to get to today, but I had some car trouble, so I came to my local favourite forest, Toolangi, which is really close to my heart. But yeah, like, we've had some really amazing progress in the Rubicon. The Murrin-Dindy Shire Council actually passed a motion to save 9 coops on a very critical area of forest containing lots of wildlife and, you know, threatened species that have been affected by the last summer's, well, not this summer, but the one before's bushfires. So yeah, there's a lot of community action occurring right now, which is really great to see. And yeah, we're starting to see, you know, not just the community stand up for our forests, but also, you know, our councillors are passing motions, which has set a precedence here in Victoria that's never happened before. And yeah, that's about it.
Well done. It's so good that you managed to get out through all the car trouble and get amongst the leaders to represent the Central Highlands today. That's
fully in it.
Yeah. Awesome. In East Gippsland, our tree sitter is still having a bit of trouble logging on, but yeah, maybe Isaac, do you want to tell us a little bit about what's been happening in Errinundra, or should we wait for our possum?
Oh, well, I wanna show you. I don't know if I can. It's a bit windy here, but the tree sitter is You won't be able to see it from here, but you can see the top of the trees. How it's quite windy here, but I think they've made it. They've made it to the top, and I think they're kind of trying to log in. But yeah, just to give you a bit of a summary, like it's been 7 weeks now from Errinundra, from the Errinundra Plateau, and the loggers haven't moved in yet, which is testament that camp have been keeping them away. I just had, when we were setting up the live stream, I had one of the contractors passing by. So I think he was going back to the coop that they're logging now, and which is, it's in a burned area, but pretty yeah, they just clear felling like more than 40 hectares there, and as we know that all salvage logging, how they call it, like it's really a very destructive practice which gives no chance to the forest. So we're concentrating our efforts in the unburned areas of East Gippsland, which this Errinundra Plateau is one of them. Only 20% of state forests are left unburned in East Gippsland, but we know as well that all native logging is wrong. So yeah, we're keeping our spirits high, and we hear from Camp Errinundra 7 weeks going.
Well done. So it's so good to see so much direct action happening for our forests. Could one of you, maybe Tassie, do you want to start telling us why you think direct action is important as a way to protect our forests for our climate future? Why did you get involved in doing direct action, and why do you think it's important?
Sure.
Feel good.
Okay, so hi everyone, I'm Ali. I got involved in direct action a few years ago. Why? Well, after so many letter writing sessions and trying to meet with politicians and meeting a bunch of legends who are working in the front line, putting their bodies on the line, I became really inspired by the tangible difference that direct action can have. And also by seeing how non-violent methods of protesting can send such a strong message to the media and also to the politicians. And you also directly see the impact. You're there on the ground, seeing the machines all tied up,
The wind's pretty full on. It's a bit hard to hear you, but I think we got the picture.
Yeah, awesome.
What about you, Bones? What made you inspired to get down there and sit in the rain in front of a tripod?
I first fell in love with forest blockading down in Tassie, saving the Tarkine and the Florentine, and learning non-violent direct action and how effective it is sort of, once you know that skill and you have the ability to go out into the forest, I almost think it's an obligation to use that skill set to be effective, because we just need to buy the rest of the world enough time to catch up and realize that once the forests are gone, we don't have those carbon sinks anymore. We can't just grow them back, let alone the biodiversity we would lose.
What about you, Alana? What inspires you to get involved in forest activism?
I guess I share the same kind of sentiment as Alice and Bones. Like in the beginning, as a very concerned environmentalist, I tried all those kinds of avenues of letter writing and lobbying our leaders, but we don't have enough time anymore to do that, and they're not listening. And finding a sense of community with other forest defenders is one of the most empowering things, because a lot of the time you can feel very alone in the way you feel about the planet and what's happening to our forests and the climate. So for me, it allows me to keep faith that we can create change. And personally, I've witnessed how powerful, holding off logging for a week can be in order to protect forests. There was a blockade here in Toolangi only last year around this time, where we just relentlessly kept stopping operations for a week. And by the end of the week, a court injunction came through telling the machines to leave. And if we hadn't have stepped in and kept holding off the logging that whole week, then they would have taken so much more than the 4 trees that they managed to fell, in an entire week. So I guess, you know, at the end of the day, it's our last resort when none of our leaders are listening. And yeah, it's also like a beautiful, empowering thing where we can actually see change occur here and now.
Couldn't agree more, Alana. Totally agree. Do you have anything to add to Fiara? What made you sit up a tree for 6 days straight and counting?
Basically the same things. I guess it's like you can't replace old growth forest. Once it's gone, it's gone. And like trees give us oxygen and they absorb and store carbon, and they give us so much. And like, what the majority of humans, what do we give trees? Like we don't give trees anything. And I'm trying to give back to what the trees give to me.
Lisa, do you have anything to add?
I mean, I've been involved in direct action in the forest for over 13 years, and yeah, it's really hard sometimes. That's the honest truth. We see a lot of destruction, and as you can, like, I'm sitting here looking at this patch of clear fell that was unfortunately destroyed before we got in here. So there's a lot of heartbreaking moments. But this patch of clear fell would be so much bigger if it wasn't for the action of these people that have come out here and spent time in this camp and put their bodies on the line to protect it. I just find it so inspiring every day looking around me at the people that I work with and what people are willing to do and the lengths people are willing to go to protect the forests. It's like direct action is so effective and so powerful, and we can send such clear messages to the community, to the public, to the politicians. But we're also directly stopping the logging. Like if it wasn't direct action, this whole forest would be gone. And I've been involved in a number of campaigns where we have managed to protect certain forests, like the Upper Florentine, where we had a blockade for a number of years. And there's a number of other places in Tasmania that we've been able to protect through direct action. So yeah, it's a super effective way and it's so empowering. I see a lot of people coming into the campaign who have just been kind of sitting around looking at all this destruction and looking at all this stuff that's going wrong with the world, and people just feel really powerless. And that's part of the system that we live in. It's kind of designed to take people's power away and make people feel like they can't do anything. And as soon as people come out and start to get involved in direct action, people are like, wow, my actions can actually make a difference. Yeah, so it's so nice to see that, to see how empowering.
Thanks, Lisa. That's perfect. I couldn't agree more. Isaac, do you have anything to add? I gather that our tree sitter's having a few technical issues.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I just wanted to add to all those reasons that I totally agree with. That also, and that's something that because I haven't been doing direct action for a long time, but I think exactly, you just go from signing things and going to demos, and you just kind of get a bit more towards putting your body in the front line, right? Like, and especially for me, it was coming to live here in Goongerah and East Gippsland that I just couldn't avoid it anymore. I had the logging trucks on in front of my face, and the logging as well. So then, the only remaining option is just to get in front of the machines and seeing that works, and also learning that we forget that a lot of the times, like reserves and national parks, they're not because the politicians of the time had an impromptu like feeling of like protecting land. It's often because of activists before us have put their bodies before us, and then they've protected land. So when we hear people saying, oh, you have all these national parks or all these reserves that you can go, I think it's important also to remind them that it's been more often than not is First Nations people and also grassroots organizations that have made those places national parks, or have with their bodies and their protests and their actions have protected land before us. So I think that's something I'd like to add, that I think it's important to remember.
Yeah, without direct action, there'd be no Errinundra National Park, and all of the additions to the national park that's been made over the last 25 years has been because of direct action. So if people are thinking that they might like to get involved, absolutely do it. What can people do to get involved in your campaigns? Kazzy, do you want to start?
Yeah, sure. So yeah, we always need new people to get involved in the campaign, and we love it when new people come out to camp. So yeah, if you want to get involved, get in touch with us through the Bob Brown Foundation Facebook page is probably the best way. You can also drop an email to scott@bobbrown.org.au and be in touch with and directions on how to get out here. There's also a heap of other ways that people can help out. If you're not able to climb up a tree, there's so many other roles that need to be filled. If you just want to come out and cook us a nice meal for the night, or if you want to help out with painting banners in town, or doing pickups and drop-offs and that sort of thing, and running groceries out to camp, that sort of thing is super helpful as well. So we need everybody in this battle, and you might not think you have a lot to bring, but you do. Everybody out there has something that they can bring to this campaign. All we really need is your passion and your energy.
Awesome. How do people get involved in the Olney blockade?
We have Forest Defence New South Wales Facebook and also Instagram. So that's the main way that we communicate if we've got workshops on the weekend, or if we're flooded out and you can't come visit us, or if you really want to join our group, you can message and say that you want to join our group, and we'll add your contacts to our communications.
So that was Forest Defence New South Wales on Insta and Facebook, did you say?
Yeah.
Oh, hey,
Thank you.
Looks like our tree sitters just joined us. Hang on a sec.
Oh, can I say one more thing?
Absolutely.
Sorry. Yeah, so also join our mailing list. So we've got a mailing list. If you go to just bobbrown.org.au, there is a spot on that website where you can put your details in, and then you'll get updated on all the activities that we've got going on.
Great. And how about you in Toolangi? Is there ways that people can get involved with what's happening in the Central Highlands?
Yeah, there's so many different ways you can become involved. So we have the Rubicon Forest Protection Group, and there's been a lot of actions taking place out there. We've got Warburton Environment, Friends of King Lake Forest, and then Forest Conservation Victoria, which is the main blockading group across Victoria. So if you're really keen on direct action and NVDA training, send a message to Forest Conservation Victoria on Facebook, and we will hook you up with some training days. If you're keen on surveying, so we can always use surveying in the forest. There's a really amazing group here called Wildlife of the Central Highlands, and or Watch. A lot of people know them as Watch, and they've been really successful with a few court cases against Vic Forests. It isn't for the faint-hearted. It does involve a lot of nighttime bush bashing through very dense forests, but it's super rewarding when you find those, critically threatened endangered species like the greater glider, the leadbeater possum, sooty owl, powerful owl, smoky mouse. So yeah, if you're keen on surveying and not so much on the direct action front, the surveying is still a form of, direct action, in my opinion, because when we find these animals, we trigger special protection zones, and the government has to put that zone in, which means you save an area of forest immediately. So yeah, you can send them a message on Facebook as well. And yeah, we can hook you up with a surveying day. And yeah, that's pretty much it.
Absolutely. Direct action is definitely
Holly, hey, my line's not available.
Glider, how's it going? In East Gippsland.
Hi. How's it going? It's very windy up here.
Tell us about where you are.
I am on the Errinundra Plateau in a beautiful big messmate tree. And yeah, we've got a fair bit of wind this morning, but it's still beautiful. It's a great area here. Yeah, one of the last bits of unburnt forest around. So it's lovely to actually be here with trees that, yeah, haven't been affected by the bushfire.
And how high up are you, Glider?
I'd say I'm at least 35 or so meters. Getting buffeted by my tarp at the moment.
Yeah. So great you managed to join us. Can you tell us about the Errinundra camp and how people can get involved?
The camp here is set up like really well. We've had great community support. Yeah, we've had a lot of locals lately. Yeah, coming out to say hello and show their support. And if anyone wants to get involved, they can look up the Gecko website or on Facebook and yeah, get some information about coming out to the camp. Like, we always need more people to come and hang out and be ground support.
Hey, do you reckon you could poke your phone out so we can have a look around?
Definitely. Hang on a second. All right, so here we go. And that's looking out towards the road. And then if I look out over this way, this is the coop that we're here protecting. You can see in the foreground there's actually some regen there and on the other side of that coop as well, but it's beautiful big trees in there. And yeah, I hope you could see some of that.
Yeah, we could. I wonder if this is the first time we've had 4 tree sitters talking at the same time. Do you have anything you want to say to each other while you're up your trees?
Good on you, fellow possums.
Lisa, you're still muted. Hang on a tick. Yeah.
We've actually got 5 now because we've got, oh, where's he gone? Oh, he's just up there. I don't know if you can see, we've got a 3rd one who's joined us, and Fiara's got a friend who's joined her as well. So we've got 5 people here now.
That's 5, 6 people across the country. It's pretty drastic that we all have to take this action because the government won't protect our forests, but it's really inspiring to see so many people willing to climb trees and sit in tripods and put up with leeches and change tyres in the rain to get to the forest. So well done to everybody. Is there anything you guys want to say to each other?
Oh, just massive respect and solidarity to all you guys out there. Yeah, it's hard sometimes because yeah, we get so embedded in our own campaigns, but I think it's really for us to come together like this and share these kind of things and share some solidarity and just to know that we're all out there fighting for the same thing and fighting for the bigger picture.
Absolutely. Guy, did you have anything to add?
Yeah, well, hang in there, everyone else, and keep up the good fight. And I really hope that someone starts paying attention to all of this action.
Newcastle represents.
Sorry, I didn't hear that.
I was just saying to Newcastle, do they have anything to add?
No, it's nice to connect with everyone, and I appreciate having reception in the forest because it can be an isolating place. But yeah, it feels a little bit less with all you in the wet too.
It's a revolution to have a forest blockade with reception, I have to say. It's really opened up the world for us all. So just for people watching, if they want to get involved, the places they can go is the Bob Brown Foundation, Forest Defence New South Wales, Watch, Wildlife of the Central Highlands and the Rubicon, and Save Errinundra and Goongerah Environment Centre, Gecko. So all of those places, oh yeah, and Forest Conservation Victoria, who are the most awesome crew of direct action people in Victoria. So yeah, jump online and check it out. If you can't come to camp, you can always donate money to any of those places. You can sign up to mailing lists. You can write letters to politicians, and you can do direct action in the city as well. Don't forget, there's a lot of power in the old banner drop and office occupation. So use your imagination and go sick and get out to the bush. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, guys. Lots of love to you all.
Lots of love.
And a big coo-wee.